With schools starting all over the place, we see a lot of back-to-school sales going on to help people get ready to learn something new by having new shoes, new clothes, new electronics, whatever it is. Well, through these weeks of August, Jesus has been, in a way, having his own back-to-school sale, although he doesn't charge us anything, in a way. Jesus has been using each of these gospels we've been hearing on the weekends to give us some new lesson. Today's lesson is threefold. First, to this woman, this Canaanite woman, who comes and asks him to heal her daughter, a beautiful thing, Jesus defers. He doesn't answer her at first. And it seems almost harsh the way he treats her. But the lesson she needs to learn is that God is not some sort of celestial eBay or Amazon where you bark out your order and you get what you think you deserve. Jesus lets her know it doesn't work that way. Second thing is that Jesus is teaching her that he wants a deep friendship with her, something more than you ask for this, I give you that. And that's all there is to it. He wants much more, and she doesn't even know she needs it. And then finally, it's a lesson in humility, isn't it? It's a strange little line in there when she talks about the scraps of the table, that even the dogs eat the scraps of the table. And one of the things is for us to learn that, okay, we might think we're only getting the scraps of the table sometimes. But if we realize that those scraps come from heaven, they're pretty darn good. There's something wonderful and holy and beautiful, something we need in those things that we consider the scraps, the who cares. God is giving us something that we truly, truly need. And so the woman goes through this extraordinary lesson, school, if you will, of humility, understanding, friendship with Jesus. Apply it to us. The first thing she learns is that Jesus is not just some sort of order thing, like a drive-through where you yell out your order and you drive through and you get it. That he is so much more. He is the living Son of God. He is among us and understands our needs and loves us and wants us to love him back. And it's not just this negotiation that occurs. And it is always fine to ask for things, especially when we're asking for the good of someone else. What a wonderful, wonderful, prayerful practice that is. But we have to be willing to learn to ask in the way God wants us to ask. As Jesus taught us in the Our Father, thy will be done. Second thing, we want to develop a friendship with Jesus. Well, in order to develop a friendship with anybody, we have to shut our mouths sometimes. We listen. We don't just do a monologue. Here's what's wrong in the world. Here's what I need. Here's what my friends need. Here's what I really, really want. Please take care of me. Thank you very much. Good night. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And we go about our life. We didn't stop. We weren't quiet and let the other person talk to us for a moment and say, do you realize I'm here with you and I might have something to say? We want that friendship. We want that depth of relationship with Jesus that only he can provide. And finally, the last lesson of the day from that Canaanite woman is humility. Not always the easiest thing to learn. At bottom line, the humility in our spirituality means one basic thing. I realize that I am not God. And we all say, oh, I know I'm not God. But it's hard to let go of the control that we want in our lives, the decisions that we make or even the advice we give God. Here is how you should do this. Here's how this can be fixed. If I could be God for one day, I'd fix the whole world. Well, probably not, because people are people, and we need to learn the humility to accept that and to accept that God really is watching over us lovingly and with great gentleness and care, and trusts us to do our little part of bringing the kingdom around in this world. So what do we have today? We have a lesson teaching us that God is not some order form. We have a lesson teaching us that Jesus wants a deep and lasting friendship with each of us. And we have a lesson about humility. I'm not God. I shouldn't even try to be God. Thank you very much. And I trust that God knows what I need even before I ask for it. It's a great thing to remember as we all go back to school in one way or another. Jesus has brought us back to school during these weeks of August, reminding us how lucky we are to be in his school of faith, hope, and love.